The Angular ecosystem has changed a lot with the last few releases. Now with Angular 16, even more will be changing. With all of these changes, I wanted to talk about one in particular, functional router guards. Angular 14 deprecated class-based router guards. While we can still use them, they'll be going away in the future. In Angular, a router guard is a class that you can get to run in between navigation. It's a mechanism that lets you determine if the current user has the correct permissions to view the next route. Let's look at an example of the old guard. The class has a function that allows you to return a Boolean or a URL tree as a plain value, a promise, or an observable. While our app will compile and function properly, you'll see the deprecation notice I was talking about earlier. This gives us a pretty good idea of what's to come. To make our applications a little bit more streamlined, Angular has introduced functional guards. Functional guards are easier to write and maintain as well as share around your codebase. Let's look at the same example, but rewritten. We can add a canActivate array to our desired route. Then we add a function that injects our auth service and returns true or false if the user was logged in or not. One of the cool things is that we can write functional guards directly in our route. We can see right away that this does the same thing but with a much smaller footprint. With functional guards, we're still able to inject services we may need to access and still maintain access to the next route and the router state. Checking if a user is logged in is likely something we'd want to share throughout our application, so let's put this function in its own file. Then we can share and reuse this function in any route throughout our whole application. Let's replace the function we wrote directly in our route earlier with our new function. All we need to do is delete the old code and replace it with our new function, and we're pretty much done. Functional guards will help slim down our application as well as make them easier to maintain by giving us a far more streamlined way of guarding our routes. If you have an Angular app that uses class-based router guards, I'd encourage you to start converting those now. Thanks for watching. If you learned something, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.